How is it going, everyone? We've got some big Where Winds Meet updates to go over in this video. We've got the whole roundup of the fixes and everything rolling out, and some major updates on things that they're working on, so I definitely want to highlight that. One aspect of Where Winds Meet that I absolutely love is the music. I think everything about the world is my favorite part about this game. The open world, the design, the aesthetics, and the music obviously has a big part in that. Even when the trailers were coming out, I'm like, wow, this game from a music standpoint I feel like sets a tone really well. And now the soundtrack is streaming on major streaming platforms, music streaming platforms. We'll talk that, and a bit of an update as far as the content of the game. You guys might be aware, but Solo Mode Level 7 is now available, and your level cap has been increased, so we'll talk that at the end of this video briefly, since most of you are aware about that at this point. But Where Winds Meet, official notes. Dear Wanderers, since last weekend, you likely have explored the vibrant life of Kaifeng. Whether you stumbled upon exciting encounters or are still enjoying the main chapter, we hope your journey has been enjoyable. We understand that there have been some bumps along the way, and we've gathered your feedback to address your concerns. Rest assured, we're actively working on improvements to enhance your experience. Audio issues, bug fixes, fixed incorrect voice lines in the Jianghu Journey CG, fixed the issue of missing music during the cutscene reforging coins, fixed audio visual sync issues in some scenes. The issue of missing sound issue on consoles will be addressed gradually this week. We've also released a new batch of dubbing and are addressing audio visual sync issues. Expect more dubbing and voice fixes to be available this week. I definitely have noticed there being some dubbing issues. Honestly, I don't think it's the... again, I feel like the aspect of this game being free, there being some audio-visual syncing issues, that is such a minor issue in the grand scheme of things that, yes, while I've noticed it, I didn't even think of that as a big deal. I was like, okay, this is just an error or a budget constraint for a free game that they didn't want to go above and beyond and get the lip syncing all correct and make sure that it's super seamless in that regard, because that's not the biggest deal in the world. But if they're gonna improve that as well, hey, W for that. Expect more dubbing and voice fixes to be available this week. Performance on consoles. On December 2nd, we'll release an update for the console version, including improvements to video memory and RAM, enhanced stability, and fixes for screen flickering issues like Skyward Dance and Hidden Sound Recast. On December 10th, we will release another update on consoles, including video memory and RAM improvements, enhanced stability, average frame rate increase by 1 to 2 FPS, support for HDR and PSSR, and improved texture quality in some scenes such as 1000 Buddha Village. I will say, on PlayStation 5 Pro, I think the performance has been pretty good. Have I noticed performance dips, especially when you're in some of the bigger battles and there's a lot of effects going on? Yeah, I have noticed some performance dips, but nothing too egregious, and I would say for a game at this visual fidelity level, looks pretty good, plays pretty good, and maybe I am always grading this game on a curve because it is free to play, but man, I think the performance is pretty solid for the visuals of the game. Upcoming UI optimizations. I talked about it in a previous video that one of my major flaws with the game is the UI. I don't think it's game breaking, and maybe that's coming from somebody that doesn't play a ton of MMOs. Again, you're talking to somebody that's going into this game with a single player approach, playing it on solo mode, and the UI just to me isn't ideal, especially with a controller. But I don't think it's the end of the world, and I think you can figure it out. I did see a comment on somebody, I think, said that they had 60 hours of game time in the game and the UI was still annoying them. Like, it's a minor nuisance at this point, but I could definitely see it for a casual just coming in, downloading the game for free, it being a little overwhelming figuring out what's going on and everything available. But upcoming UI optimizations: dialogue subtitle optimization by fixing text overflow and adjusting the font size. Text in the open world optimizes text display to avoid too much text from appearing at once. Hallelujah, that is such a great update. Some of the text in the open world I do, and I know you can dial back how many icons are on the screen and things of that nature and the guided progression in the game, but some of the text just gets a little bit overwhelming with everything going on, so big W for that. Number 3, Kaifeng Tour Map interface localizes into multiple languages. Number 4, Healer interface optimizes layout and display. Equipment tuning interface fixes text overflow and optimizes the localization for the musical notes Gong, Shang, Jiao, Z, and U. I will say that that text overflow is like a big deal. Text also colliding with one another. I think that's an issue. And again, the UI optimizations I think will be great. The UI optimizations are still a little bit of a ways away. The above above are expected to be implemented on January 9th with version 1.2 on that update. In the meantime, we've received feedback about the menu being too complicated and difficult to navigate. Again, just what I mentioned. We're also working on these improvements and hope to roll them out soon. So they know that they're obviously listening to people, and streamlining the UI, especially for the console audience, I think is going to be great. Remember that this is a game that, even from a promotional standpoint, they very much went into the you can play it solo. And what has a big talking point about this game been? Oh, don't go into it expecting just another live service game or a multiplayer-oriented game, a free game. People have their preconceived notions about free titles as it is. However, I think the UI just being improved, I think it would bring it more in line with that solo mode being more so, even more so than it is right now, that marquee single-player experience that a lot of people associate single-player games with. I don't think the UI is a deal breaker, but that is the one issue I've seen reiterated over and over again, especially from those people that are single-player guys that don't play a lot of multiplayer games, and they went into this as a single-player game, having played other games, you know, that are single-player on PlayStation. The UI does get a bit complicated, so I'm happy about that being improved as well. So they seem to be on the right track as far as rolling out content and doing the things that the consumers want. Speaking of rolling out content, I do want to note the Where Winds Meet Twitter account did put out a tweet promoting some of the content that's available, but most importantly, solo mode is now extending to level 7, and from level 55 to level 60, the level cap is being risen. So that'll give you some more stuff to do, and the level gating for now has been removed until you hit that gate once again. Obviously, that's been one of the biggest talking points as far as there being aspects of live service that is bleeding into the single-player oriented experience. But I understand that. It's a free-to-play game, and you can't go total 100% like the typical solo experience that we are expecting. It's still a live service game. I get it, but it works for the style of game that it is. And it's actually one of those elements that I've come to accept. And also, it does give you the opportunity to step away from for a little bit and then come back, and guess what? You have all of this content that you can delve into, or a new gate that you could, so to speak, hit. So I think it actually works out well. I'm interested to see how they're gonna handle it going into 2026 and how this will evolve over time in terms of the implementation and the content rollout, because given we're just a couple weeks removed from the game's release, I expect what we see now versus what we're gonna get throughout the course of 2026, the pacing might just be a little bit different, but we'll see how that turns out. And then, as I mentioned at the top, I think one of this game's strongest suits is the world design, and with world design, also, it's complemented by the sound direction, the music. The Where Winds Meet original soundtrack is now live on streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, KKBox, and Line Music. So, check out the music. The soundtrack in this game, I think, is phenomenal. I had a good hunch that the soundtrack was going to be great when I was watching the trailers. I'm like, oh, this game from a music direction standpoint is fantastic. And for the setting of the game, the tone of the game, I think the soundtrack just complements it so well. And that's what I go back to with Where Winds Meet. Dude, this is a game that has a variety of difficulty options. You don't have to be worried about, oh, am I at the level of player of this other player? Sure, there are people that are going to play this game on Legend difficulty. They're going to have a very difficult experience, but if you want to block all that out and enjoy this as the game that it is, and music is a big part of that, immersing yourself into the world, enjoy it just as an open world game with great visuals, great world design, great music, that you could exactly do that. Like, every time I talk about this game, I have to reiterate how blown away I am from that vantage point, because I definitely have those notions about free-to-play titles, and there are free-to-play games that I'm excited for coming out and that I certainly will cover, but one that truly can be played as just an open-world action RPG, and one as good as Where Winds Meet, kind of blows me away. I'm still kind of blown away by it. I get it, there is the aspect of the level gating and content rolling out, being drip-fed like that, but it is a live service game, but it goes the direction of being a quality single-player game as far as you can really take it, and personally speaking, as far as I've seen it. taken, and I kind of love this model of it being a live service game. You're gonna get this content rollout, but at the same time, you can play it on easy or normal difficulty. You don't have to be worried about what everybody else is doing and get super competitive. You guys know how I am. I'm old and washed up, and this kind of free-to-play experience, oh boy, sign me up for that. This kind of live service experience, sign me up all day for something like this. And I hope games like Ananta will be able to be enjoyed this way as well. But that's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. How are you enjoying your time with Where Winds Meet? And we are in a pretty quiet period, you guys, of new game releases. So if you want a game to play over your holiday break, how to just kick back, relax, stylish gameplay, free, this is a great one. Maybe you're spending a lot of money on those Christmas gifts and you want a free game to play, man, Where Winds Meet is a solid one. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.